Hey everyone, it's Dana here with Love Sola Flowers. We are going to do our first Thanksgiving craft, and so I'm super excited because I love the fall, and so we're gonna keep it going. So let me just make sure my comments are on. Say hi if you're on, and we are going to finish this wreath. So I did start it because it has a lot of stuff going on. So I will tell you what I've done so far, and I will catch you up to exactly where I am. Hey Tammy, and then we will finish this up. Okay, so here's the deal. We are still having our big sale, but it ends tonight. So if you are still wanting that big discount, make sure I can see everything. If you're still wanting that discount, it is 60% off regular Sola Flowers, and that code is Prime60. So if you want the regular Sola Flowers, Prime60 is the code, but the Fifth Avenue and the fillers are 20% off, and those don't need any code at all. So once you put those in your cart, they are already 20% off. So that is the deal. Hey Maria, hey everyone, good evening. So yeah, so we are gonna make a wreath. And I was thinking about different types of Thanksgiving things, and something that I don't really decorate inside my house for like holidays and things like that, especially for Thanksgiving, because we don't have Thanksgiving at my house. So I made a cornucopia last year and I love them, but I don't really like put them out because there's really nothing that, you know, like who's gonna come see it really, unless you're having Thanksgiving, which makes sense. So I thought, what if we did a cornucopia and we turned it into a wreath, because wreaths, everybody sees wreaths. Hey Amanda. Oh, Amanda, you don't always catch me, but I'm so glad you're here. So, yeah, so I am turning my wreath into a cornucopia wreath because I love cornucopias. I love making cornucopias, but I don't keep them inside because, again, I don't really do anything for Thanksgiving at my house. So I'm going to show you exactly how I started this because everybody could use a wreath, so I'm excited about it. But if you're just joining us, again, the sale ends tonight, okay? So it's 60% off regular Sola Flowers, and the code for that is Prime60. And then for the Fifth Avenue collection and the fillers, it's already 20% off. So that is that deal. But ends tonight, guys, okay? So catch your deal on lovesolaflowers.com. All right. I just see a bunch of people popping up, so I didn't want to like start while people are flooding on, but I am going to start to go over what I've already done. So I bought a regular grapevine wreath. Right, Maria? Because, I don't know, everyone puts a wreath out. I mean, well, most people put a wreath out. I always have a wreath out. And so some of those fun things that like are inside my house that no one will ever see, like what if I could turn them into outside my house so everyone can see them? So this is a grapevine wreath, and you could do any size, obviously. So if you have a bigger cornucopia, you're gonna want obviously a bigger wreath. But I had a small one, and it was like a wood color, and I didn't like the two woods, like they didn't match well. So we spray painted it red, which is nice because it brings that color anyway. And I did that. So what I did was I took my cornucopia and I actually zip tied it to my grapevine wreath. Okay, so I literally just I threaded the zip ties through the cornucopia and the wreath to attach it. And what I'm gonna try to do is make it look kind of like the cornucopia is pouring out onto my wreath, okay? And so I've started with that. So I put the cornucopia on with the zip ties on the wreath, and then I did my base fillers already because obviously I don't wanna keep you on here for like hours and hours. But if you've watched my videos, you know that I always start with like a base, right? And usually my base is more of my cheaper fillers because we're gonna put everything on top of that. And so I save all of my beautiful Love Sola preserved fillers. Hey everyone, I see all your hellos, hi. We save all of our expensive preserved fillers and such to go on top so that those don't get lost in between. So how I did it was, I did do the cornucopia on here first. I didn't put anything down on my wreath before I attached the cornucopia. And then these leaves, so really funny, these leaves are actually preserved fall autumn leaves that I got at like the Home Depot. So those were my leaf base. I added some green because I did want a little bit of green still. And a couple other fillers. And then I always like to have some feathers with my cornucopia just because, you know, Thanksgiving, turkeys, I don't know. It's just my thing. I like feathers with it. So I added feathers on that side. And then I wanted it a little bit cascading down again because I wanted it to look like my cornucopia was kind of pouring out onto my wreath, okay? So I have my other base fillers here, and some are drooping down off the wreath. And then inside my cornucopia, if you can see, I have a foam ball covered with moss, okay? And that's where I'm gonna stick my wires in for my flowers and stuff. So I've stuck a foam ball covered in moss. I use a moss that has like an adhesive, so I can literally just wrap it around there. And that's how we got to where we are now. So if you have any questions that, go ahead and ask, and I'll answer while I'm starting to wire up my flowers. Now, this we're gonna have to kind of build with the flowers and the fillers kind of at the same time because I have some of the bigger fillers. And again, if you're just joining us, our fillers right now are 20% off, and they are such high quality, preserved and dried fillers. We do have some new ones. I'm actually gonna use one of the new ones tonight, but I got some big ones so that we're gonna kind of have to do like flower filler, and kind of use these kind of like a flower because I don't want it to just be a big pile of flowers right here. I do wanna maximize the use of like fall colored fillers. So this is the Setaria. I have the star flowers. I have the floral buttons. I have some Princess Pine in brown. I have some rat tail millet. And I have, this is something that's new. So this is a Pro-Tea Repin. I don't even know if that's how you say it, but that's how I'm gonna say it. Maybe it's Repin, maybe it's, I don't know, but they're new on the site. If you go to the new tab, you can find them, but it's also in our filler tab. Let me show you these. And they come on like a really thick, hardy stem. Look how pretty these are. And there's, I think there's 3 different colors, and that's in the filler tab, or in the new tab, I believe, as well. So again, the fillers are 20% off. That's automatic along with the 5th Avenue, but you need to use the code PRIME60 if you want regular Sola flowers. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We are gonna start filling our cornucopia. Now what we're gonna do is use our bigger flowers towards the base of the hole, and then it's gonna move out to some thinner, smaller flowers. I am using both skinned flowers and raw flowers. And again, I do have a styrofoam ball. Yes, star flowers are so pretty. I use the star flowers quite frequently. So I am using both skinned and raw flowers. And I'm wanting to start at my base, okay? So in the cornucopia, I'm gonna start at my base, and I'm gonna start with my bigger flowers first. So I'm just wiring these on 18 gauge wires, so that I have a good strength to push really hard in there. And I'm gonna start filling this up. I do like to use wires over bamboo sticks, kind of for the reason as you're seeing right now, I can kind of bend them around. I don't like to use like kind of those traditional rosy types for things that are for the fall. I like to use more of the pointy shapes, more things like mums and zinnias and things like that. So that is why I have these flowers today. And I'm gonna just stick those in there. Now, this is where I'm saying we're gonna have to kind of do some fillers and flowers at the same time because I want to layer it. I gotta break this. Ooh. We gotta kind of layer it. So these are nice and big. Okay, so I want to be able to see where these things fit. Okay, and I really like these, so I want to use them for sure. I'm going to use one more towards the back. and just shove it down in there. Now, oops, I busted that one. All right, I'm gonna put this on a wire so I can stick it really, really hard in it. Or maybe I won't right now because it's fighting me, but okay. So it's not easy to get your hand in it if you have a small cornucopia. But, see, I like it kind of sticking out like that. Okay? Now, let me see. I might want a little guy in the front here. So I'm gonna see which one I would like to sit here in the front. Maybe this like flatter guy. So I don't ever like really set it up, the flowers, like ahead of time. I kind of just build it as I go. But if you feel like you want to set out your plan first. So again, these bigger fillers, I'm kind of using like their flowers, and then we'll go in with all those cute little fillers in between it once I'm done getting these big guys in there. So let me put this here. And again, I'm using the white, the raw, or the skin flowers because we have so much color coming from other places that I just don't want to overwhelm it with color. And we will have filler in between this so it won't be so like blaringly white. So again, I've got a foam ball. If you're just joining us, I have a foam ball down in there. I got to do it from this angle. So that way it can just stick in. Now you can also glue your, especially if you're in a windy, if this is going outside and you're in a windier kind of area, you could always hot glue them in there when you stick them in as well. Okay, let me turn it back. All right. I think I want these guys to go up a little bit, but not too far up my wreath, because I want it to kind of stay within the cornucopia, because the whole point of it is like a cornucopia is what's filled. The wreath in the background is kind of just to hold it. So I don't want it to be like crazy up the side. It's not like, because if we went with flowers all the way up, I think it would just be too much when the focus should be on this part right here. Okay, so I think that'll be my last big flower, and then maybe, let's see, these little guys. I don't even know if I need him, but I like him, but let me see. Let me see if I'll need him or not. All right, so again, guys, I thought of this idea because I thought a lot of times if you're not the one having like the Thanksgiving dinner, then when you decorate for Thanksgiving in your house, it's like, who's really seeing it? But if you have it on your door, then there's a lot of people seeing it. So for me, that was why I wanted to bring it outside. I'm gonna put these little guys because I love these little guys. So again, if you're just joining us for the first time, these glue strings are crazy. Sometimes when you go back, especially for something like a wreath, when you go back and forth, you make like this glue web, you know? So you would just take like a hair dryer on the hot setting and you hair dry it, and it dissolves like magic, the glue webs. Let me see on this side, maybe this little guy right here. It's hard to see those both sides. So anyway, let me finish the flowers, and then we're gonna add our fillers. And again, I might add a little bit of the fillers to the parts up top and everything, but I don't wanna add flowers, because think about it. If I put flowers up on this side, then it's like, what was the cornucopia for? So the whole point, basically, is that the cornucopia is holding the goodies. Okay. All right, so we have our flowers. I might want one of these guys hanging down. So let me put that. And again, these are like a really strong stem and they don't really bend, but I wired the one that just like broke in my hand because I was pushing so hard. But if you need to be able to bend them, you could totally just glue a wire to the bottom. So let me see if I can get this guy at the angle that I want him to be. I might just put it in, like glue it instead of trying to get in the foam. I might glue it to the side because I kind of want it to hang down like that. And I love these because they kind of mimic the look of a feather as well. So I've got the feathers on the one side, and then this has kind of got like that whole pointy, feathery look. So I like how they balance each other. Let's see. Yeah, I like that. So this is what we've got going on so far. Okay. All right, but now I've got to put all the fillers in. So right now it kind of looks like a blob of white, but we've got so many fun fillers that are going to go in here. So I'm going to use some Princess Pine in brown. And I'm not going to use too much. I'm just going to fill in a couple little spots. I always like to use my like fluffier, more space kind of taker filler first, and then we move to the little like spriggy type stuff. So I'm gonna put this guy in here, and again, I'm just gluing it now. I'm not gonna try to reach some crazy stem or something of these in there. And these are cute because you can kind of pull pieces off of them, and you can make them just the right size for where you're wanting to put it. So I'm just gluing, and I'm making sure that my glue touches. Oh, he came off his wire. I'm just gonna rewire this one. Or I don't even know if I actually wired it. It looks like I didn't even do it. Maybe I just held it there and I never glued it in. That would be something I would do and not notice till it fell off. So again, with these wreaths, the webs of glue get crazy, but they disappear easy too. So if you're just starting, I do see some people are joining now. Our sale ends tonight, guys. So if you're wanting these fillers, especially this new filler, it comes in a couple different colors. The sale ends tonight, so it's prime 60 to get 60% off of your regular Sola Flowers. And then if you're wanting the Fifth Avenue collection or any of these fillers, they're 20% off, but they're automatically done that way. So don't miss out on a deal, especially if you're needing these fillers. Again, I use these kind of cheapy fillers to be my base because they kind of get covered. And then I'm going to use all my nice pretty fillers for my, like to grab your eye attention getter. So I am going to add a little bit of this to this side, just so that I bring a little bit of this darker color over. So again, I might bring some filler on this side, but I'm definitely keeping all the flowers in my cornucopia because I definitely want it to look like that's the point of it being filled. Okay? Moving to the next filler, I'm going to use that Sitaria. I don't remember which color this is. I think it's called something like a rust or something, a burnt something maybe. But this is a pretty fall color. I don't know what colors there are in stock right now, but get your last of the fall colors while you have your chance. I'm going to put these, and our fillers, you know, some of them sell out really well and fast. So it's always limited supplies because we can only order, you know, what the crops have. So the farmers, you know, have a certain amount they can give us in certain colors and stuff. So, okay, so I added one of those onto that side, and now I'm gonna add some in here. So again, for those of you just joining, we're making a cornucopia wreath. You know, we're kind of taking our inside decorations and making them so that they could be outside decorations too, especially wreaths because everyone sees the front of your house. So even not your guests, I mean anyone who drives by will see your house. So some of these decorations that are fun to have and no one ever gets to see, I thought, let's bring it outside. So I'm just gonna slide these in. I need one over here. Prime 60 is the code. It does end tonight. The sale ends tonight. So if you're needing to stock up, if you're a bride who needs a bunch, or if you're someone who does craft shows and needs to buy in bulk, getting it on this big discount is always helpful. So that's the Prime 60. Okay. All right, it's looking good. Now I'm gonna move to the floral buttons. So these are the orange ones. And I just make little bundles and then I glue the bundles in together like that. So I just make my bundle and then I'm gonna cover the bottom with hot glue. Use a nice amount of hot glue so I hold it together. And then when I slide it in, it'll catch on all those other things that are right there. So this brings a nice fun color and texture. I don't worry about my preserved fillers on my front door because I do have an overhang. And my weather in November is not so crazy, but you could even use these like a wreath like this on your wall, because if you don't really use a centerpiece but you do decorate your walls for holidays, then you can use this inside as well. Okay. I think I want a little bit of that brown up higher here too, just because it's a different color and I want to make sure we bring some balance. So I'm going to bring this up here too. Okay, just if anyone has any questions, just let me know. Again, I'm leaving my flowers undyed, which is how they come to you. So they either come raw, which is that ivory color, or they come with some skin on them, which is part of the bark that's been left on it to cause that kind of two-toned look. I want to put one more bundle of these and then we're going to move to our star filler. The cornucopias are so popular during this season, you might as well show them on your front door. You could also, if you have like a bigger wreath and you have more space, you can get like those little wood cutouts that say gather, or you know, blessed or something like that on it too. Okay. All right. If you can see, can you see that? I know it's kind of big, so it gets kind of difficult for me to show it, but all right. Now I think this yellow is really going to make it pop. This yellow is the Starflower filler. Again, this is 20% off right now during our sale. And you don't need a code for fillers, but I like this bright yellow. I think it'll bring a little bit of life. I love that they're little flowers. It makes really good for rustic and autumn wild type look here. So I'm gonna put this as my little pop of yellow. Right here in the front. And again, I'm just making little bundles and then I put the glue on the end. I know I have to use my mouth every single time because my glue gun is a pain. Get a good glue gun. That's my words of advice, is get a good glue gun. But I go through glue guns like crazy because I work all day. Sometimes I have like 16-hour days, so my glue gun is on like for 16 hours. And so they die very quickly. So I don't like to buy expensive ones, because if I buy expensive ones, it won't matter, they still die because they're on 24/7 at my house. Okay. I think I want one more little piece of yellow over on this side. I probably will put a little bit of yellow on my other side that has no flowers. I'm trying to see where these should go. And you definitely want to hold up your wreath and look at it from the front view over and over again, Because remember, that's really what people are gonna see. Okay. I'm gonna put a few of these on this other side. You can use feathers in your cornucopia too. You can use pumpkins. There's like those little, you know, like foamy or plastic pumpkins. This one is not so big. It's not a very big wreath. It's only, I think, 12-inch wreath. So if you're wanting to make a bigger cornucopia where you can put like gourds and pumpkins and all those in it, which would be beautiful, you're gonna need a larger wreath and a larger cornucopia. But this is just a little guy, so. Okay. All right, now, let me see if I even need these guys. This is that cam millet. And I might just pop a couple of these in it. And again, I like to save all of my expensive and preserved fillers for the end because they don't get like hidden underneath all the other stuff that we've added. So I don't want these pretty fillers to get hidden. Take advantage of the sale for fillers, okay? Like if you're the kind that like has not bought preserved or dried filler, it is so worth it. You definitely can charge more money for your pieces. It definitely makes them higher quality. So you definitely will get your money's worth if you use these fancier kind of fillers. Don't take the risk of using kind of like cheapy things if you're gonna go to a craft show when you can buy these fillers, especially when they're on sale, and make it extra special. And high quality. Okay, because it really does change the look. I know there are some people who are like, oh, I only use faux, I only use faux, I don't want to spend the money. But you don't need to use a ton of the expensive fillers. You can use them all just at the very end and just little pieces, okay? Like, look how much one package can last me a million projects. And so you don't have to worry about spending an arm and a leg when you're only doing these little pieces of them in each of your projects. And especially when they're on like a sale like it is, then you're really not having to worry about, you know, it being so expensive. But if you save the expensive, high quality ones for your toppers as opposed to your base, you're getting more bang for your buck that way. But you definitely can charge more when you use dried and preserved, and you can definitely promote it that way. People respect, you know, that it costs more money to do real than it does to do fake. So, okay, so I'm done with all those kind of fillers. I'm just gonna add a little bit of the grass to it, the rice grass, just to give it a little bit of a sprinkle of, I don't know, it makes it, it always like looks like a halo or something to me. It's like just a sprinkle of, it like floats, see? I love the rice grass. You don't need a lot of it to make like a big impact with this, but it kind of just like looks like it floats there. And I love that look. If you've not tried the rice grass, you're definitely gonna wanna give that a try for sure. Okay. Again, I'm just gonna tuck these in a few different places. You don't need to go crazy to still have impact. Just gonna have a little bit over here, and then I'll put some on the other side, and then we're done with this. And then I can put this on my front door, and then finally someone can see something Thanksgiving that I make. Because we always go to my parents' house for Thanksgiving. So I never have like, you know, the whole table set up thing. So yeah. All right, I'm going to add a little bit of this to the other side. Then we are done. Again, this was a Cornucopia Wreath for anyone joining us. Our sale on Solaflowers ends tonight. It's lovesolaflowers.com. It's pinned on the bottom. And it's 60% off regular Solaflowers when you use the code PRIME60. Thank you. When you use the code PRIME60, and then your Fifth Avenue and your fillers are 20% off, but you don't need a code. Okay, I'm gonna flip this. So let me see. Yeah, because like, you know, cheapy faux filler can be a really good base, so you can save money there because you can lay stuff on top of it. But that real filler really, really, really changes the quality of the piece. And I was someone who never used it until Love Solaflowers came out with their super high quality, because I was using dried and it was falling apart and I hated it. And then Love Sola had all this super duper high quality and I loved it. It's hard. Let me see if I can pull it back a little bit. So what would I charge? I hate that question. I hate the question because I don't really know. I don't think I should think about it before I make it, but sometimes I don't even know what it's going to turn out like until I finish it on the tutorial. So I would say, because it has a full cornucopia on it and it's got a lot of flowers and a lot of fillers, you could charge like $95. It's 12 inches, but it's very packed. I would say about $95. So as you can see, the front of the cornucopia looks like it's kind of pouring out. Can you see that? And again, I made my cornucopia a different color than the wood just because I wanted us to be able to see that it was a cornucopia on there, because the wood on top of the wood, it was like a little too blendy. And then let me see where I would hang it. So I would probably hang it like here, so it looks like it's kind of dumping out, if you can see that. Right, Maria? It's so good. Sultan does not like just take anything. He makes sure that it's like really good. You could go a different color route too with this. I know some of you have liked that purpley fall kind of colors, like mauves and purples. You could totally do that. I just had a bunch of this colors kind of hanging around and I thought, let me finish that up. But yeah, it's nice and full. I'll get a good picture of it. You know, like on the video, it's sometimes the colors are weird because I have this light so that you can see stuff on it. And it makes the flowers a little bit washed out, but I will take a good picture of it. So again, I didn't do any flowers on my top part. I did do feathers, but I did, I added just a couple of my little fillers in there just to bring that side with this side so it matched. But I focused on making it a nice full cornucopia, so it looks like it's kind of pouring out onto the wreath. You could make even some of your flowers cascading down if you wanted to look like it's falling out. And again, you can use pumpkins and gourds and all that kind of fun stuff, but I definitely will put this on my door. But yeah, so that's it. So that is our first, because I'm gonna do more, but I don't know it yet, but we're gonna do some more Thanksgiving crafts, but this is our first Thanksgiving craft. The sale ends tonight. PRIME60 is your code for 60% off. The link is pinned at the bottom, and then your fillers and your Fifth Avenue will be 20% off, and you don't need a code for that. So that is all. Okay, guys, so I'll take a picture of this when it's like nice out, maybe even on my front door so you can see it, and how it looks when it's all in the place that it's supposed to be. So everyone have a good night.